giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We're streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Well, yesterday was interesting. A whole lot went down, obviously here around Dallas, but of course around the league as well. But today, we're going to talk about the Cowboys at the bye. The plan was to maybe listen to some of these assistants, but there was one particular assistant that I just wanted to focus on because that will allow me to go into the film room. So we're going to go into the film room a little briefly to focus on what he had to say. A lot of y'all don't like him, and I'm with you. But I am not naive or blind or deaf to what happened yesterday surrounding the old man, Jerry Jones. So we'll tackle that in the roundup. And if you guys have anything to say on that, 351-999-3787. If the show takes us into the back portion of it, then fine. If not, cool. We'll just talk about it tomorrow. This is the bye week, so we got a lot to get into. But yesterday was kind of wild around the league. Interesting when it's the Cowboys, though, so it's not interesting. But when the owner speaks, it has more headway than some bomb trades that happened yesterday, right? Some Woj bomb type of trades. And we talked about one of them here on the show where Davante Adams was traded to the Jets. Then a few hours later, Amari Cooper, we got the breaking news. Breaking news, the Browns trade Amari Cooper to the Bills. Okay. And they get a third-round pick back, more than what the Cowboys got. That was the talking point. I didn't expect Amari Cooper to come back to Dallas. This was always much deeper than Amari Cooper's ability, even though some fans will have you believe it was about his ability. It had nothing to do with that. It was a personal thing. But he goes to the Bills. I think it's a great fit for Amari Cooper. And, you look at Josh Allen, you look at Aaron Rodgers, those teams said, you know what? We don't want you to do more with less. We're going to go out and try to give you more because we're trying to dethrone those guys over there in Kansas City. Dallas said, word, hold my beer. Breaking news, the Cowboys signed Jalen Dalton today per league sources. The XFL Brahmas, is it the Brahma Bulls, I believe? Yes. San Antonio Brahmas is where they're getting their guy from. So who, let me just press this button real quick.
Who in the blue hell are you?
All right, let's find out who he is. He is a DE/defensive tackle, 6'6", goes 300 pounds, was undrafted in 2019. He's been on 5 practice squads, play a little bit with New Orleans. So there you have it. Cowboys get another defensive tackle here and championship. No, I'm just kidding. Shouts out to this guy. I mean, this is, in all seriousness, for Mr. Jalen Dalton, this is a dream come true for him. And likely, let me see here because I don't see a practice squad. It just says signed. Let me run this back. Doesn't look like it could be practice squad, but waiting for a little bit more details to roll up through here. So there you go, Cowboys Nation. They made a move, another practice squad type of move or bottom of the roster type of move. I guess we can break it all down a little bit later, but there we are. It's not a Amari Cooper type thing. It's not a Davante Adams type thing, but Dallas is trying to fill out the roster. These are the type of moves that led to what you saw yesterday on the radio with the old man crashing out. So let's get into that, Cowboys Nation, before we jump into the rest of the meat potatoes of the show.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
So, to start the show yesterday, we didn't really go into detail about it because it was happening as we were going live. Jerry Jones got on the radio and pretty much crashed out a little bit, right? Cool. We thought that was it. And before I go into what he did when he left the radio station, let me just say this. Because I know there's going to be those Cape Crusaders. There's going to be the, Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoes of Jerry Jones's fans out there who will have this to say. I don't need to talk about Jerry Jones to run a successful show or anything like that. So before you Cape Crusaders come in here talking about he's the reason you get paid and it keeps the Cowboys relevant, just don't. I hate to break it to you. I don't need Jerry's marketing of this team to cover this team in a way that's successful for me, okay? So I'm just putting that out there right now. Because yes, Cowboys Nation, there are people out there. The only reason this is even being brought up is because of Jerry's ego getting hurt yesterday from routine questioning and then him doubling down on it. He doubled down. What do you mean? So Diana Rossini, which let me go get the actual quote from y'all so I'm not misquoting him. Jerry left the, radio station interview, went to an owners meeting and spoke with Diana Rossini. And this is what she said on talking to him about what happened. He said, quote, Jerry said, quote, I don't know what I would go as far as calling the volume connotation as yelling, but the facts are that if I'm going to be grilled by the tribunal, I don't need it to be by the guys I'm paying. I can take it from fans and take it from other people. The wrong ones were doing the questioning. Now, if those have been real fans sitting there, or if there have been people that knew what they were talking about, football people, I might have had a different answer. Boy, you just making it look worse, Jerry. You just making it look worse, man. Number one, and by the way, if I sound congested, it's because I am. My son's sick, so you know what that means. We get sick around here. Jerry basically just admitted he doesn't want people either on his payroll or indirectly pressing him on matters pertaining to the on-field product. Keyword there being pressing, because you could talk about it, you can critique it, that's fine. But when you press him, he doesn't want that. That's basically what he's telling you. But the facts are that if I'm going to be grilled by the tribunal, I don't need it to be by the guys I'm paying. Oof. He just set DFW media back 10 years. Number two, the on-field product that Jerry loves to take all the credit for the, 12-5 and hanging around the rim and we just got to put it in the hoop. And he loves that, right? Talk about the 12-5. The same guy who says there's nobody that can come in here and do all the contracts and be a better GM than I can. Well, Jerry, if you're going to parade around as a general manager, then we and the media have the right to hold you accountable. Right? If you don't want to get pressed on these type of matters, don't do weekly shows. Don't go on the radio giving us a bunch of gibberish to create these headlines. Oh, but wait. He does the weekly shows. He likes to create the headlines because, according to him, that's the job, right?
If anybody is thinking that we have more said about us or more visibility, if they're saying that, that's exactly what I try to do. And I do want to keep them talking about the Cowboys and have from the day I got here. And so, again, I'm smiling and I'm saying it with all the positive in the world. If we've got them talking about us, we're doing our job.
Yeah. That's why he's on these weekly radio shows, because that's his job, to get him to talk about you. But you're the GM, right? Nobody can be a better GM than you. What GM goes on the radio multiple times a week? What GM outdraws the head coach after the game in a scrum? What GM doesn't speak to their coach about making a trade to give up assets that could help your team and cap that could help your team? What GM watches their team get absolutely embarrassed at home in the playoffs and decides to run it back with a lame duck coaching staff and then punts the offseason and gets mad when pressed about his processes? And you want on a pat on the back? Jerry, for what? Because you won 12 games with McClay's guys and a bunch of Clarence Rack free agents? What did those Clarence Rack free agents do in the playoffs for you? You got fans wanting us to pat him on the back. Good job, Jerry. For what? The standard is so bad right now. The standard has lowered. What, you want me to tell you? You did a good job? The standard has lowered here, man. No matter 30 years, different coaches, different players, different eras, the standard has significantly lowered. But the same person has been running this whole thing for 3 decades. The GM has failed for 3 decades, and therein lies the problem. The GM has been the GM for 3 decades. Mind you, this is the same guy who said if the results were the same, but with an actual general manager, he would have fired that general manager. But there are fans who want to keep this type of operation around. There are fans who are A-okay with how this thing goes because we won 12 games. You know how pathetic it is when laughing stocks like the Cardinals, the Lions, the Bengals, the Jaguars, the Panthers, the Jets, I mean, they were laughing stocks of the league for a good bit. Those teams have made it to Super Bowls and made it further than you over the last 3 decades. You see an organization like the Rams win multiple Super Bowls when they were nothing in the 90s. The Chiefs turned into a juggernaut. You see all your rival teams in your division, sir, have been to 5 Super Bowls in this last 20 years or so. But somehow you think nobody can do the job better than you. You've been passed up by laughing stocks. And I'm supposed to be, as a fan, okay because he trotted out 12 wins. Give me a break. So, Jerry Jones, don't get mad at the radio people. Don't get mad at the media for actually grilling you about you punting in the offseason. You want to parade as the general manager. This is what comes with parading as a general manager. If you don't want to get pressed, don't get on the radio. Again, find me another general manager around the league who does 4 interviews a week. Because if there was another general manager who was doing 4 interviews a week, they would press him too. That's what comes with the title. Since you want to parade as a general manager. Of course, when it's good. When it's good. Look at me. Pat me on the back. We won 12 games. I digress. Jerry Jones set the national media. I mean, just really, not even just national media, everywhere. National, news, whatever, YouTube. Everybody is talking about it. And some are going to say that's exactly what he wants you to do. I guess. The only reason why it's being brought up is because the manner of which it went down. For me, personally. That's it. I don't need to talk about Jerry Jones to get you guys to come through and listen to Cowboys. So, you Cape Crusaders, if you want to come here and say that, you got the wrong show. You got the wrong show. But I'm not going to ignore how all that went down yesterday and how that made him look. There are people who say, hey, good for him. Cool. I guess. If you think the owner, general manager, president, that's cool to do, more power to you. More power to you. But just know, that is the guy. That is the face of the franchise. That is the top dog of the franchise. That is the leadership of the franchise. And usually, your organization goes as the leadership goes. What is it, Toxic? Shit rolls downhill. Jerry must have had his diaper on because he was shitting on himself yesterday, Cowboys Nation. And I'll leave it at that. Quan said instead of being on the phone doing radio spots, he could have been on the phone acquiring talent. You know, I thought it was hilarious. In that same interview, he said, well, what players are we going to go get to play for against San Francisco? An hour later, Devontae Adams is traded for a 3rd-round pick. Cam Akers is traded to the Vikings. He's a 5-0 team. 4-2 team trades for a receiver. But the 3-3 team is like, man, ain't nobody out there to go get. Jerry, shut up. Get off the radio, dog. You just make yourself look more goofy. VIP, I know you got a lot to say, man. What's on your mind, brother?
Sky. Hold on, let me breathe real quick, B.
Take a breath, bro. Take a breath.
This right here, B. This is what I've been talking about all off season when it comes to our damn incompetent owner and GM. Look. Now yesterday, him bullying his own staff showed you.
Oh, by the way, real quick, he mentioned I didn't bring this up. He does not pay them directly. Now, indirectly, he may have. Look, he's kind of like a mafia down here with Jerry in Dallas. Indirectly, he probably could make a few phone calls and make some things happen, but he does not pay them directly. So I do want to make sure that gets put out there.
Oh, yeah, he don't pay them directly, but like he said, he can easily replace the people that's asking these questions.
He can make he can dip. He can say, okay, I'll go to the ticket. I go to A to Z Sports. You don't want to come here, bro. I'll go wherever else. Yeah, he can do that for sure.
Now, Jerry in his pimping bag right now. He in his pimping bag. But I need you to take, Jerry, are you listening to VIP? I need you to take that energy and put it towards the free agent market. Because that's all they asked you. That's all they asked. They asked you, and really, that was a softball question they threw at you.
Right. It was just routine questioning. But see, his ego gets hurt when you question his football acumen. Because that's what that is. They're attacking the football part of Jerry Jones, because again, you parade around here. Nobody can be a better general manager than me. Oh, word? I bet. Let's talk general manager, Jerry. And he gets upset because that's the one thing he does not like to get attacked about is his football acumen.
Well, the whole thing here is, Scott, is accountability, B. Like, it's just everybody can be held accountable. And I think where he's never been pressed is his own insight. He's like, I don't care if ESPN and the rest of these 4-letter networks hold me accountable. He's like, but the people that, like what he said, I could choose not to have this conversation, and not only not have this conversation, I could have this conversation with somebody that's blowing smoke up my ass instead of somebody that's holding me accountable.
Yep.
That's basically what he was saying.
And what did we talk about yesterday, VIP, if you listen to the show? How are players going to truly hold themselves accountable or have that fear of the coaching staff doing so when the owner is not holding himself accountable and the owner is not holding the coaches accountable? Thus, the coaches can't really hold the players accountable. Like,
that's my
how
point,
is that even possible?
So it all falls. You know, snow. You know what it says? That snow. It falls downhill. It starts from the top.
Shit
B.
rolls down.
So when it starts up top, and by the time it gets downhill, you have no accountability downhill. The coaches, like you said, the coaches can't even say anything to the player. Players are like, "B, my contract longer than yours, man. You better check your locker. Your locker might be cleaned out tomorrow." And can you think about what these dudes on? I don't even like these clowns because sometimes the way they go in on Dak, I think is like I felt like Jerry was telling them to take shots at Dak in the off season. So I don't even like some of them clowns over there, but I respect what they do because I've been doing radio for 20 years. And I would be if my program director and I got it in with a couple of my program directors. So I know if they know, like, bro, you're not gonna just talk to me any old kind of way because end of the day we all men, Jerry. And you can't just be so these men have children. They got to go home to their children and be like, yo, I got son today, B. Yeah, I heard you got son, Dad. Oh, like, come on, man. Like that whole thing, that's what bothers me more than anything.
The thought process of Sean saying, yeah, you got son. But, yeah, you know, him indirectly threatening the job or whatever, that's just low. That's low or whatever. But I think what he was basically saying was, I'll take my stuff elsewhere. I don't know if he was really threatening their job. I think he was saying, I'll go somewhere else and get people to ask me these questions. This is kind of how I took it. But either way, I still think it was low. It was again, you cannot parade around asking people to pat you on the back for the good things you've done as a general manager. And then when they press you about the failings, which really, let's think about it for a second here. What really have you done as a general manager in 3 decades?
Nothing.
Right.
He read up a couple of our players that he should have been there.
Right.
And he tried to bang on his chest for that. Oh, I signed Dak. Nigga, you were supposed to do that. If you did that in the off season, we'd have had room to play. Like, bro, it's just like
VIP. They wouldn't did
make it make
anyway.
sense. Make the math to me, man.
They wouldn't did it anyway. Hey, VIP, we getting a lot of people coming through, so I'm gonna hear for some other people. I appreciate you, bro.
You know what it is? How about them Cowboys? My energy don't change. I still think we're going to do this thing, man.
Oh, word? All right, I love it. Yeah, look, it's one thing. Still rock, right? Like, still DC4L. But don't get it twisted. We're going to call them out. You know what I mean? That's just how it's going to be. Right now, it ain't a whole lot. Like, I was thinking about doing, okay, let's do report cards or whatever. But I'm like, how can we do report cards? There's not much of anything that's good at this moment. Now you could say prisoner of the moment based off what happened in Detroit, but yep. I can't realistically come on here and think that I can give anything other than a C below for anything that's happening. So we'll tackle that maybe week 10, you know. 346. What it is, what it do?
It's good, Scott. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yes, I'm well. Let me get in here real quick.
You want me to come back to you? 346. Sound busy?
No, I'm good. I can
okay.
Step away from these.
All right.
Say, Scott, I'm a little disappointed in the fan base, man. People are kind of running with what they feel Jerry was saying and not what was said. In the beginning, well, first off, let me say this. He never threatened those guys' jobs. People took that interpretation and ran with it.
Yeah, I think he more was like, I'm gonna take this Jerry Jones show to a different show. I think that's what he really meant, me personally.
Right.
I don't think he was like, I'm gonna get you fired. Right. Granted, Jerry got enough power to make some calls, but I think he meant I'll go to the ticket.
No doubt.
Or I'll go to A to Z Sports. You know, I'll leave the fan.
We're talking about a billionaire, self-made billionaire, owner of the Cowboys, GM of the Cowboys, going to the owners' meeting taking time out of his day to come and have a conversation about probably one of the worst losses that the Cowboys had ever took. And all he said was, I don't want to talk about what we did yesterday. I want to talk about what it takes for us to get good moving forward. Would anybody say that healthy, if this team was healthy, that we would not have a good team, that the GM did not do his job? Give us Sam, give us back Bland, give us back Diggs in the beginning, give us back Parsons, give us everybody back, man. Do we have a team that can compete?
Well, brother,
did the GM do his job?
The Cowboys have been competing for 30 years. Competing is we're over competing.
No doubt.
We're over competing. Number one. Number
No
two, if you've been listening to this show, yeah, we were questioning the team healthy, my boy. We were why aren't you improving this scheme? Why aren't you improving the run game? Why aren't you getting actual defensive tackles in here when you brought Mike Zimmer in here knowing he needs those? Why aren't other guys able to compete for starting roles? Why did you bring in this running back group? Like, yeah, we question all of that. Even with Sam Williams, why aren't we addressing the defensive end depth? So yes, even healthy, there were questions. Even healthy, you were getting blown out, on the field this year. So I would say yes, there will still be people questioning.
Was that caused from the GM or was that caused from the players and maybe
who's responsible for putting those players on the field? Who's responsible for not addressing defensive tackle, running back, the defensive end depth? Who's responsible for that?
He did. We had got Lawson, but he needed to work up.
You're mistaking.
I'm saying he made moves. They weren't great, but he made moves. He made GM moves that weren't great. That were solid.
So we should give him a pat on the back for signing Clarence Rack free agents and making moves in August.
I didn't say pat on the back, but we can't deny that he did the work.
What work?
I'm just saying, if we had a healthy team, are we healthy enough to compete? Now, when you look at the players, did they compete? Did they give their all? Are they making good tackles?
Let me ask you that.
Are they wrapping up? They're not doing anything.
Let me ask you this.
You go 5 or 6 plays.
Compete for what?
For their own self-dignity. You're a football player in the NFL playing for the Cowboys in a position as a starter or a person that's getting play time. You should give your all. You should play your hardest. Every time. What are we talking about?
For their self-dignity, or are they playing to compete for a Super Bowl?
Well, no doubt, Sky, but I'm saying if our team is healthy, do we have a team that's good enough to compete for the Super Bowl? How many All-Pros do we have? How many other teams can say this? How many All-Stars do we have? How many teams can say this?
Stay right there. Do you think healthy this team can compete for the Super Bowl? Honest opinion.
Yes.
All right. Well,
if they give their all and they play to their capabilities, yes, I do.
All right.
Well, at what position do you say that a person is not good enough to compete for the Super Bowl? At what position?
This team, unless you show me about the last 4 games
when you measure that against the 11 other people,
this team is not healthy or not. This team is not able to compete for the Super Bowl. Right?
Why?
There's just no
effort. Wrapping up.
Effort.
That's not the GM's fault,
brother. Who? Okay. If you think who's putting the players on the field?
But if we had all our players, Sky, would we be a team that could compete?
No team has all their players, number one.
No, they do not. But people are absolving us of the injuries that we have and just saying,
no, we're not.
Well, why are you so bad right now? Because we have injuries.
Right.
Why do you look so terrible? Well, we have injuries. We have players coming back from injuries.
Bro, injuries happen.
Yeah.
No one's denying that. We were calling out this team's woes. No, we were calling out this team's woes before the injury. We were coming at everything about the team before the injury, from coaching on down to the players. So I don't.
But I'm saying, did the GM do his job?
No, the GM did not.
How?
That's why he got defensive. That's exactly why he got upset, because he said we're not going to talk about what went. That's what he said it, bro. He said it on the radio. We're not going to talk about what I did wrong 2-3 months ago, because he knows he was wrong.
I'm not saying he didn't say that.
But
no, I don't think he was wrong.
That's what he said. He knew he messed up.
He didn't say he was wrong. He said he's not going to talk about what they think he did wrong. He said the fans don't deserve to hear
No,
what he did
said,
wrong
he
10
said,
months
don't
ago,
just talk
5 months
about,
ago, because he
don't
can't
just
change
talk
it,
about
guys.
what I did
He
wrong.
can't change what he
said,
did
don't
back
just
then.
talk
All
about
he's
what I
saying
did
is,
wrong.
let's talk about what
I
you
did
expect
right.
me to do
He
going
said,
forward.
don't talk about what I did wrong. Talk about also what I did right. He is admitting to you, yeah, I might have
Yeah, he
messed
did
up
say
right
that.
there. I might have messed up right here, but here's what I'm. So what has he done right? Sign Carl Lawson? Man, give me a break, bro.
He signed Dak to the most highest. He signed CD.
In August.
He's acclimated the money for Micah. He's acclimated the money for Parsons. He's acclimated the money for what's our the little fast guy Turpin.
What?
Do we not want these guys?
What are you
Am I
talking
missing
about?
it?
Turpin ain't getting no
So
extension.
we have all this money to spend.
He signed Dak and CD Lamb in September, my guy. If he signs those dudes earlier, he doesn't have the excuse. See, he's pandering to you.
You know better than me that it takes 2 people to sign. CD was waiting for the other shoe to drop so he could get more money.
What are you
talking about? And we know it.
The number never changed.
Did CD wait for sign after Jefferson?
Jefferson signed
as soon as
like
Jefferson
March.
signed, CD signed.
Jefferson didn't sign in August or September. Jefferson signed way early in the offseason. You didn't have to wait.
I mean, who was the person that got that high
Jefferson
the high amount?
I'll give you the exact.
He was pushing the limit to. He was pushing it.
I bet you Justin Jefferson ain't signed in September. I bet you Justin Jefferson ain't signed in September. Justin Jefferson signed.
Well, that's not the point.
Justin Jefferson signed before they came back to camp.
He wanted more money, or did Jerry not want to sign him? I believe Jerry offered CD money.
All right, man. You can carry his water pail if you want, bro. I will not.
Did he offer CD money early, and CD turned it down because he wanted more? That's why CD wasn't in cap.
All right.
I'm just saying. The facts are the facts.
Appreciate. All right, man. I appreciate you. I love that we can go back and forth on that. Appreciate you. Agree to disagree.
Yes, sir, me too.
This is a perfect next caller here. B Bird, talk to me, man.
Hey, what's going on, Scott? How you doing, man?
Shocked. I mean, actually, I shouldn't be shocked because there are people who believe Jerry Jones could do no wrong here.
Absolutely, man. And the prior caller
celebrating signing Carl Lawson is crazy to me. Celebrating signing
that's crazy.
Celebrating signing your quarterback in September is crazy to me. But go ahead.
Yeah, and the wide receiver missing training camp and all that stuff. But man, we it's more fans out there like that. They won't look at the common denominator over the last 29 years. We've had Pro Bowl quarterback after Pro Bowl quarterback, and we have not been to the NFC Championship game. And it's the one person that's there that's a culture leader, man. But one of the things Jerry likes to talk about is accountability. And, you know, when Jerry talks like that, I wasn't going to call this week, but when Jerry talks like that, you know, it gets under my skin because I've been long saying that he's the biggest problem. And people don't want to accept that because what it is when you accept that, you say, man, this thing may never change because he's going to always be here.
Oh, we know that ain't. You know that ain't changing.
Steve's going to be there. Right. Well, here's the deal, though. That's why everybody want to go to scheme, players, and all. But the main problem is, y'all, whoever comes in here as a coach, next coach, they have to overcome our front office. Our front office is not going to help them. They have to overcome the obstacle that is the front office. But the accountability thing that people always talk about, they say the buck stops with me. No, it don't, Jerry. The buck stops with a dude that can lose their job.
Mm-hmm.
See, losing your job will motivate you to do all the other stuff. Yesterday, I saw a person that, when asked the question, wasn't in a position to all shucks his way out of it and you know, use his charisma to get out of it. And when that happened, man, he didn't know what to do. What he does, man, I was listening to Clarence talk, and I heard Clarence say this before about this lavish, I guess, dinner they have up there for the media. And he does, like, camp, personal things for the media. Yeah, training camp, I'm sorry. He does things for the media. What he does is he's softening those guys up, man. Because once you know him, and Clarence even said this on the show, man, once you know him as a person, man, he's really a good guy. But once I know him as a person, I can't be as critical as I need to be. You get what I'm saying? So I think he does that on purpose to get those guys in that position. And I'm gonna say this, man, and two things. Every time they ask him about the personnel and do they have the players, that's really self-serving. Why you ask him that when he's responsible? He's gonna always say yeah. I don't care if it's the worst roster out there. He's gonna always say yeah because he's responsible for that. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave, Scott. So he always go back to the 90s and look what I did back then. Scott, that's equivalent to
Can't look
I
at the
made
90s.
I was straight A's. I was straight A's as a second grade student, a third grade student, and a fourth grade student. Straight A's. But the rest of my time, I was all C's. Am I more closer to a C student or a straight A student than I was back in elementary school? No. If I go all the way to the 12th grade making C's all the rest of the way, that's what I am. And so that's just what it is. I can't go to college and put my second and third grade report card up there. I got to put this last thing I had on here. So when he goes back to that, nobody cares about that stuff. What have you done lately, man? That's all it is to it. And so I just hope this opened the eyes for everybody else what the real problem is. We talking scheme, we talking coaches and all that kind of stuff, but they have not hired an alpha head coach and allowed him to coach his team since Bill Parcells. The only reason they got him here is to get the stadium deal done. I sent you that video, Scott. You remember that?
You did send
me
that.
But anyway, man, I want to add that to the program, man. I'm continuing to listen. I appreciate your time, bro.
Thank you, B-Bird. So the reason why I talk everything outside of Jerry Jones, first of all, I do a show 5 days a week. And this isn't to you, B-Bird, but because you're right. End of the day, we know what the ultimate issue is. And I say it to y'all every year. I still am under the belief that they have to do it in spite of, right? I always say if we win it's not going to be because of those two gentlemen right there. It'll be in spite of. And we have fans that are smarter than the low-hanging fruit. And if I just did a show every single day about Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, I wouldn't be here. Just be honest. Plus, I'm a football nerd. I absolutely love the game of football and the intricacies of football. I love looking into it. And end of the day, once the season starts, I know they're going to do nothing to improve the team. That's just who they are. They're not really going to go all in during the season. You hope that something happens, somebody kicks them upside the head, that they do it in the offseason. So now it's like, okay, let's take a look at the football stuff and see how we can improve. So you're going to see me continue to do that. Today, I knew for sure the fan base would have a lot to say. I had to address it, obviously, but I knew y'all would have a lot to say about what happened yesterday. So I'm giving y'all the floor for that, right? But at the end of the day, once tomorrow comes around or whatever, I'm done with this because he's not stepping down. But sometimes some of those people who just called in and who feel that this guy can do no wrong and he's super Jerry, and I think it's so ironic. Well, the players, Sky, who is putting the players on the field? What general manager gets a 30-year lease on life after failing for 30 years? Cool. I'll play your game. Players suck. Get new players. Who's responsible for getting new players? The self-proclaimed parade around general manager. No other franchise has a general manager for 30 years and has 30 years of failures because they've been fired 17 different times. But Carl Lawson, Sky, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Three, 4. What's up?
What's up, Sky?
What's going on, man?
Hey, man, I was not even going to call, man. When I heard that stuff, man, come on, bro. You got to be out your mind if you think Jerry ain't a problem, bro. You got to be out your mind that Jerry ain't the problem, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah,
you the GM?
I don't know, man. I don't
Come
know.
on, bro.
I don't know any other GM that would be still the GM after this long.
Bro, I don't know not one GM, bro, that stood around this long and been so freaking bad, bro, and still have their job. Come on, bro. You cannot believe yourself when you say that Jerry ain't a problem, bro.
I mean, he's a problem on so many different levels that even people within the league understand. Agents, coaches, players. Yo, you just have to overcome the way things are done in Dallas. Like, do y'all understand how hard that is to do? It's already hard as hell to win a Super Bowl. But when you got to win the Super Bowl in spite of what happens above you, it's damn near impossible. Like you have to get extremely lucky. And that's what I'm really banking on is lightning in the bottle. But this isn't just fans saying this, bro. These are players, owners, players, general managers, former players, coaches, agents, all realizing, yo, this is dysfunctional over here. This is crazy over here. But go out there and win the whole thing in spite of this guy publicly going out and saying the crazy things he does or says, and then actually doing some ridiculous, idiotic things to build a team.
Come on, you want credit for bringing in Carl Lawson, man? Get out of here with that, man. Get out of here. Derrick Henry sat in Dallas all off season, bro. All off season, bro, and now he's leading the league in rushing. And you want to tell me he doing what he's supposed to do? Man, get out of here, man, with that GM, bro. It just hurt my nerve, like, bro. Man, if you was a GM, bro, you would be out here making moves, man. You could be bragging us some help, man, because you see we need help, bro. Washington let go. They look like a whole nother organization.
They're probably the next one. I hope not, because they're a division rival. But the team I often compare a situation to is the Bengals. The Bengals were a laughingstock for how long? I mean, for a long time, for decades, right? And the owner was very similar to Jerry.
I remember his paper bags.
Yeah, right. Their owner was very similar.
Bengals.
Their owner was very similar to Jerry Jones. Very involved, very out there, wanted to do it his way, stubborn. And he admitted, I had to step back. I stepped all the way back. I let football people run the operation. And what do you know? Now, granted, the Bengals aren't doing great this year, but they even turned it around. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. Just don't know how you can put a cape on for that, man. Don't get it.
I just wanted to just have a little rant, man. God, I just don't get some fans, but it don't make sense. That it ain't like it's something that you listen to. We all seen it. Come on, man. We see it. We see what's the problem. Come on, we already know the players can play better. But come on, if we got players,
but appreciate the call, man. I'm gonna keep it moving here. Thanks, brother.
All right.
Yeah, we come at this. We do this we come at the players every week. That's what we do. Tape Tuesdays, look into the film, all that stuff. That's routine. I do a show 5 days a week. You got to spread this thing out. When you lose, it's enough smoke for everybody. When you win, it's usually enough praise for everybody that deserves it, obviously. That's how it goes. But when you consistently fail to do the ultimate goal thing for 30 years, and there's one constant, how can I ignore that? Can't do it. So Troy said the only reason why I brought up Lawson because he came to mind. But the premise of what you were saying was just totally just wild to me, to be polite. It ain't really about Carl Lawson. You're like, but didn't he do something? Didn't he do something? If your house is a mess, and I mean all throughout the house, and all you clean up is what's in the kitchen sink, you did something, but you didn't really clean up the house. You want a pat on the back for that? Sign Linval Joseph in August, Carl Lawson in August, Jordan Phillips in August, but you still don't move the needle like that. You don't draft a running back, bring back Ezekiel Elliott. You run out this mid-ass backfield. You don't change the coach. You run this thing back with a lame duck coach. I'm supposed to be like, man, he did his job. How? Because he put together a football team to go play? How, Sway? How can we watch him in the offseason and you like, yeah, he did his job? If you want to be literal, he did his job in the fact that he got under the cap. You have to do that. And you have to put 53 men on the roster. You're right. He did his job. He put 53 men on the roster. And he got under the cap. But I'm sorry. There's no praise for this offseason. And honestly, y'all know how I feel about last offseason. Y'all know how I feel. You knew you were going into this season with a receiver issue. You knew you were going into that season with the cornerback depth situation. And you elected to address it after the fact when you realized those two things bit you in the ass. But we're supposed to pat him on the back because he was reactive and not proactive. I said, look, I'll give you credit. But I'm not about to sit here and act like this was something that was just amazing. It wasn't. You was catching up. And while you were catching up, the rest of the league was doing other things. Get to the playoffs and get embarrassed. You know, I knew this was going to happen, so we probably going to save the other stuff for later. 850, what's up?
Hello.
You are live. What
This
you got?
Skywalker?
Yes, sir.
This Skywalker still?
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. What's on your mind?
Skywalker, good to hear from you, brother. I haven't heard from you in a while.
Is this Dallas 1970? Dallas Cowboys?
1977.
1977. Good to hear from you, man. Hope you're doing well.
Well, my mother passed away about a month and a half ago, and it's been some tough days.
That is tough.
She's with the Lord. She was a wonderful lady. I'm upset right now with what's going on with our franchise. I said on my channel, I've been listening to different great YouTubers like Mark Holmes, Joe Bruce of Sports, Skywalker Steel, you and Law Nation and everybody, and Big Game James and everything. We all speaking the same thing. What's wrong with this franchise? It starts at the top of the table. Jerry has been lying to us for 30 years and everything, and now since that talk show host asked a legitimate question about what's wrong with this franchise, Jerry refused to build something great. We could have got Henry from Tennessee. Now he's at Baltimore, which he's leading the NFL in rushing. I'm upset, but the thing is, I'm to the point now where I'm not being naive anymore or either being delusional. Until Jerry get out of the way, I don't see us ever getting another Super Bowl. That's all I got to say.
I appreciate the call, man. And my condolences to your mother, and I hope you're able to, as time passes, you're able to feel a little bit better, brother. But we with you.
God bless you, brother, and you keep up the great work, Skywalker. I was watching channel today when you and the other brother was doing the segment in Dallas and everything after the game and everything.
Oh, Jesse, yeah.
Yeah, that was wonderful, and I'm right now I'm doing better. Life is getting better for me right now. I went back to work because I broke my ankle about right around after Mama died and everything and stuff because I was anemic and the doctors thought I had cancer, but they ain't found out yet. But other than that, I'm doing okay. I work for Astro Travels and Tours, and I got to do Jackson State game against FAMU on Saturday.
Sweet.
Down in Jackson, Mississippi. But I'll probably do a video about my Cowboys. But I'm down in the dumps right now. I've been following this team since I was, 6 years old. I've never seen a team so distraught and unprepared and bad coaching and just disarray. Mm-hmm. Everybody want to put all the blame on Dak, but it's not all Dak's fault. It's the whole team's fault and the front office fault. And I blame nobody but the man who's leading our team. That's Jerry Wayne Jones. That's all I got to say.
Good call, man. Appreciate you, big dog. My bad. I hear that a lot. Like, we're not winning until Jerry, and I never say anything. I'm like, I get it, right? And I often respond with, yeah, we'll have to win in spite of. But you get to a point, man, where it's like, you're probably right. You're probably right. Now, I'm not going to give up hope in that it happens, but I promise you, if it does, I find it hard to believe the way they operate, it will be because of them. It'll have to be in spite unless something changes, right? Unless they change. Unless they change. If they change, maybe have more optimism in that happen. Other than that, man, I'm gonna live this thing week to week and just try to get through it, because it's rough. Because when you got this type of leadership, they make it tough to look beyond it. They make it tough to look at the big picture, because they've given you the big picture over and over and over again. It'll make it tough, man. I hear it a lot. I hear it all the time. I hear it here. I hear it on other shows. I hear it out. Never winning with Jerry Jones. What has happened is we're never winning with Tony Romo. We're never winning with Dak Prescott, right? We go to the next big face of the team. We're never going to win with Tony Romo. We're never going to win with Dak Prescott. We bypass the guy who's overseen Drew Bledsoe and Hutchinson and Anthony Wright, Ryan Leaf, Stephen McGee, Kellen Moore, Matt Castle, Tony Romo. We oversee that guy. Because it's easier, it's more digestible to just say, man, the players suck. And like I said, I'll play your game. I will play your game because I get it's low-hanging fruit. It's so easy. And you know what? I shouldn't even say that because something I was thinking about the other day. We have so much information available to us that fans are smartening up. We're no longer just turning on the TV on Sundays, watching the game. That's all we got. And then we go watch SportsCenter highlights. Then you start to see the debate shows happen. The debate shows give you sugar and cavity stuff and they rage bait you. They give you all this stuff. That's what we were getting for a long time. That's all we knew. And it was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we suck. And we weren't really getting nuances of stuff. And then as technology improves, there's a good and a bad. You get some terrible takes that, it's a free country, so fans are going to say things. And then you also get the small details. You learn in different aspects of the game. Now film is available, and then, teach tape is available. And so many, whether it's content creators or coaches are getting platforms to express and explain the game to you more, that some fans are smartening up and realizing, wait, this thing ain't just cookie cutter. This ain't black and white. This ain't ABC. There's a lot of things that have to come together. And maybe, in all jokes aside, I know I joke around about my age, maybe as Cowboy fans that saw it come together like that in the 90s, assume that can just happen again. And because he was the owner, Jerry did it in the 90s, he can do it. It must be real, y'all. I know what that was. Y'all know who that was. So I said it took me time. I was frustrated almost immediately once I started to get older. I'm like, what is this? This isn't enough for me. National media. I didn't listen to sports radio like for the Cowboys. I wasn't in DFW to listen to Cowboys radio, so I don't know what it was like prior to moving down here. All I had was national media and .com started to make podcasts and do the podcast thing, and I'm just like, this is cool, but there's more. There's got to be more to this. There's got to be more than every single day. Tony Romo, Jerry Jones, Terrell Owens, Tony Romo, Jerry Jones, Terrell Owens. There's got to be more to this. Trying to get some folk I haven't heard from, give them a chance to get up in here. 281, what's up?
Can you hear me, Scott?
Got you loud and clear.
Hey, man, this your boy Marcus, man. Marcus Hartson. How you doing, bro?
Wow, man. What's going on, Marcus? It's been a long time.
Well, it has. It's kind of windy. It got to get me fixed, but I got three premises I want to drop.
Okay.
So, let's talk about that call.
Well, Marcus, I'm going to tell you this right now. I know you're out there in that wind. It's real tough. If you can find a way to get somewhere where that wind ain't blowing, it'd be great, bro.
Can you hear me now?
I got you. I hear that one fighting behind you, but.
Can you hear me now?
Got you. Go ahead.
Okay. So, my whole issue is that caller, he represents the vast majority of Cowboys fans. They suffer from Stockholm Syndrome, and they suffer from cognitive dissonance. He was trying to sound smart by saying Jerry Jones acclimates funds for players, and it's the players' fault that they didn't sign. The correct term is allocate, not acclimate. So get you a thesaurus and learn the vocabulary. It is allocate funds, and he signed them late. He could have signed them early and freed up cap space. That's one. Okay, I'm not going to insult you, but I'm just going to let you know, you're trying to sound intelligent by using certain words that you don't know what they are. You get better at that. The term is allocate, not acclimate.
And you know,
two.
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
If you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
And you know, the thing is, you knew you were going to sign those dudes anyway, right? Like, you knew deep down in your heart you were signing these guys. So you still could have made those moves. Like, people assume you didn't have the cap space. No, you actually still had monies. And what you could have done is sign whatever player you wanted to sign. And once you made the extensions, you can sign that player knowing, okay, I'm going to end up freeing up about $20 million anyway once I extend these guys. So here's your X amount of dollars signing bonus, which wouldn't have been crazy anyway because you're not signing top tier free agents. We ain't even asking you to sign the A1 free agents. We just asking you to get better guys from then the clearance rack that you see out there at the Dollar General store in the middle of nowhere. That's all we're asking for.
Right.
But I digress. Go to your second point.
Absolutely. Second point. I've always said the pendulum always swings both ways. And the pendulum for us has always been our roster, one, like you said, in spite of the front office, in spite of the coaching staff. But now the pendulum has swung the other way, where our roster has been depleted, and now the ineptitude of our coaching staff and our front office is on full display for everybody to see. So now you just can't blame a Dak. You can't blame CD. You can't blame Micah. You have to now look at the coaching staff and the front office. This is the first time that's ever happened.
That's an interesting point, but sure they can, Marcus. You know, they don't care about, again, it has to be black and white. I need a heel. I need a superhero. It has to be easily digestible. They don't care about that. They don't care that the offseason was punted. They don't care that we're reactive, not proactive. They don't care about us not operating like most other franchises operate in regards to, talent acquisition. They don't care. They only care that their guy, they put the Cape Crusader on, that signed players to create a 53-man roster, and that's enough. That's enough. Now the players got to get it done. I don't know how many times we can say this, Marcus. It hasn't been enough for 30 years, but you continue to do the same. You continue to operate in the same manner. It's not going to work.
Now, here's my third premise, Scott. And a lot of people think that's going to be very unpopular. But I remember, I've been a fan since 1990, since I was 8 years old. So I just aged myself. I've been a fan since 1990. I was 8 years old. I remember when Jerry Jones took over. He had to literally burn the entire structure down, figuratively, and start over. Mm-hmm. And because he's still in that mind frame, that has to happen. This whole structure that he has built has to burn down in front of him. It has to burn, like how they say with Seth Rollins, burn it down.
Yeah.
He has to
literally say that in my head.
So if there's any wins, any hard part, gritty wins, he's going to sell it like, I know what I'm doing. See, look at my team. But this team has to burn. Now, we have to be willing to sit there. You do one of two things. Either you sit there and you watch it burn, or you look away. Because that's the only way he's going to change. It has to burn all the way down to the ground.
But I don't mean to sound morbid, and I don't even know if I should say this. But we're speaking.
Sound morbid because what I just said was extremely morbid.
No, I didn't say it. I'm prefacing here. I didn't say it yet. I'm not saying this literally. We're speaking figuratively here. The thing has to burn down, but he has to be in the house with it. You get what I'm saying? The Joneses gotta be in the crib with it. If they are setting it on fire and they're outside smirking, all they're gonna do is build the same crib somewhere else. That's not what needs to happen.
What earlier was you said, I'm not holding out hope. No, hope is dangerous. In a situation like this, hope is the most dangerous thing that you could actually have, because that means that when you have it, that's all you have to hang on to. All they have to do is just win a game, and all of a sudden you back to 100. No, this has to come all the way down. It has to burn all the way down.
With
He
the
has to
Joneses,
literally see.
with the
He
Joneses
has to
in
be
it, though.
embarrassed week after week after week after week.
That ain't gonna work. So that's where I'm a differ with you on there, Marcus. That doesn't matter. Jerry's been through embarrassment with this franchise before. How it burned? It burned in January at the crib against the youngest team ever in Super Bowl modern era history. It burned, but he wasn't in there with it, and he just ran it back. It needs to burn with him and his son involved. This because if he burns it, the same operation happens again. It's the same. That's the
true.
problem. The way things are operated here is the problem. That is the problem.
I would definitely give you that. I would concede that point. You're absolutely right.
If he burns it down, he says, you know what? I'm hang it up. And I'm gonna let somebody else run this ship. Son, you go run my real estate, businesses. McClay, you're the general manager. I don't know, Jerry Senior or Junior, whatever is the president, and you have the authority to fire the general manager. You know what? I'd have way more optimism. I would be even more if the Cowboys are in these situations where they have losing seasons. I would be more okay with it because I know something's going to change because they have to fire somebody.
That's true.
Right, but anyway,
that's true. I'll say this one last thing, and I'll let you go, man. I appreciate you taking my call in the meantime.
I ain't heard from him in a while, man. I appreciate it.
This man is so smart that he put his chemical engineering son in charge of a football organization. Just let that sink in. And I appreciate this guy, man. You take care, brother.
Salute. Our guy, man, Marcus Hardison. Good to hear from him. Reminds me of me and Vach's show. Marcus Hardison says, it does have to, it has to, I love that. It does have to burn, but they have to be in the crib. Again, I preface this being not literal, figuratively speaking, because if they're allowed to just do this over and over and over again, you're not going to win because of, you're going to win in spite. And I've said this to you guys a lot of times, man. The league gives you a blueprint. The league does. You just have to be able to know how to catch that wave and ride with it. But when you have a general manager, two S's, right? Son and dad, who have the ultimate job security, there's no pressure to try to find that wave. Okay? There's no pressure to it. They're trying to find the wave of the bottom line. So while football people are over here trying to find the wave of how to win and get to the Super Bowl and build that type of organization, right? They're over here. How can I get to be the most talked about franchise? How can I get to be the most profitable franchise? Not my words. Your owner, GM, president said, if they talking about us, that I'm doing my job. It's not my words. You cannot meddle the two. You cannot do it. It's a conflict of interest. Well, if we give, if we pay this much amount of money in cash, then that actually hits our bottom line, and that you can't do it. You need somebody in that making these moves that don't give a goddamn about your bottom line, that has the pressure to win or go home. Well, how does that affect the field, Sky? What pressure these dudes feel? Seriously, for those putting on the cape, how much pressure do you have after getting whooped at home 48-32, and let's be real, fuck that 32. They run the same shit back. Let's humanize this thing for a second. If you got siblings and you are the middle child or whatever, maybe younger child, you have sense, and you see the older child do something completely wrong and he goes unpunished, what you think that middle child or young child is going to do? Oh, that's okay. Oh, we'll call it a one-off. But then it happens again. And then it happens again. And then it happens again. And nothing's done. You think these players, you think they're worried about getting benched? You think they're worried about getting traded? Getting cut? You think they're out there playing with pressure? No. Because he's created an atmosphere where it's okay to be embarrassed. It's okay. We're just hurt. It's all right. Those losses just happen at home in the playoffs. Your head coach comes out and says, a certain somebody definitely has to get the ball. Clearly, he needs to touch it. He's the that calls the plays, but he can't do it because there's somebody telling him no. This dude needs to get the ball. This guy needs to get the touches. But I'm supposed to be all right with the way that's operated, fam? Man, y'all need to. 901. What's up, 901?
Going on, man? Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear.
All right, brother. I was just wondering, at what point, if we get past the bye week, the offense still looks like trash. At what point did Dak and CD just look at each other and say, like, we're going to call our own shit and run our own offense? And Jerry obviously ain't going to make a move and fire the offensive coordinator, fire Mike. I agree with what y'all been saying. Fire all the Mikes. They all of them old as fuck and wasted.
Yeah, I would have moved on from them and see what's happening, which I might segue, but I don't know. I'm enjoying this. So what point do they do their own thing? Here's the problem, bro. I think because of the lack of time in camp, they started off slow, and now they're just trying to catch up, and it's just not there. I don't even know if I could blame camp anymore. We're at week 6, and y'all still not on the same page. So I don't even know if they can call the plays for each other, bro. It's broken right now. And those two dudes you need these two guys to play at the top of their game every single series because of the way this thing is structured. And when they're not, and they're not on, you're in for a heap of trouble. A heap of trouble. And that's what's happening. So I don't even know if Dak and CD can be like, yo, we just going to do our own thing, because they don't even have that connection right now.
Yeah, I feel that on
which
the
is
connection.
scary.
I just think they need to mix something up. They ain't got no movement, no motion. We use motion one week, and then Mike just puts it in his pocket and says, we don't need it this time. I think we can do it without it. Like he's playing scared.
No, I feel
Andy
you.
Reid's one of the oldest coaches in the league, and he lets his players draw backyard plays, and they're 5-0.
Because Andy Reid is a goat.
How often do you see Mahomes and Kelsey just go out there and do some BS backyard play that we did when we was 10 and then go for a touchdown? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Andy, if you listen to a lot of players, they let them be themselves, yeah.
But that's all I got for the show, man. I appreciate you taking my call. I ain't going to hold you up too long.
Nah, man, good stuff. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Memphis, Tennessee in the building. Man, I had a thought. Just escaped me. Apologies. That's why y'all see this notepad here. A lot of the times I'm just write a word down so I don't forget. God dang it, escaped me, man. That's my old age. Jokes. Let's get to the next caller. We got some heavy hitters coming up now. Let's go ahead and lock this thing down. All right, we got Mississippi. I think we heard from Mississippi yesterday. Good morning, Mississippi.
What's up, Phil, man? Yeah. Hey, man, I wanted to bring up something, man. So I've seen a lot of Cowboy fans, like kind of like they don't really point blame, at Jerry and stuff. They kind of point more blame at the players, And I get it. Like the players do, like they deserve criticism, for how they play.
Absolutely, and we come at them. You know what I'm saying? We come out. Yeah. We just did a whole segment yesterday on Dak playing like trash and playing like Blake, man, and what happened with the run game. And we come at the run blocking. We come at the defense. We do that. But at some point, who put the players there?
Right. Yeah. And so here's my thing. So, I hear a lot of fans say like we got all these Pro Bowlers and stuff, but like look at this deal. Here's my point about the Pro Bowler stuff. It don't matter when your front office ain't addressed your weaknesses of what's going on the team. You can't stop the run. You can't stop the run. You can't run the football. So Pro Bowlers don't matter if you don't address the weaknesses going into the playoffs.
Hold up, Mississippi, because see that's something, man. Hold up, time out. Let me take a break real quick. Hold on, just hold right there. The way you put that together just made my brain think about something. Because you're right. We have these Pro Bowlers, high level players, right? But think about the things that have been ailing the Cowboys when they get to the tournament. Well, coaching is a big one for me personally. But speaking of players, do we have the Pro Bowl defensive tackles stopping the run?
Nope.
Do we got these Pro Bowl All-Pro linebackers? No.
Nope.
Do we have this the Pro Bowl running backs? Now you could say, yeah, Ezekiel Elliott back in 2018, and guess what? We won a game, right? But since 2018, Zeke ain't been that guy, right? So not saying you need a Pro Bowl running back, but I'm saying, do you got that special running back? Have you had that guy? No. The one time you did in Tony Pollard, he got hurt, right? And do you have the coaching that elevates that in the playoffs? Have you had that?
You ain't had it.
Man, you on to something right there, Mississippi Cowboy.
But still, here this is what I would say, because if you look at like last year, we didn't even address the linebacker situation. We had, Marquise Bell. He played his ass off, of course. But he's like what? He weighed what, 215, 220, something like that. And he playing linebacker, you know what I mean? And we didn't address not a thing because, Jerry wanted to say that, we like what we have right now. We don't need to make no moves. Well, then we go up and play a team like Buffalo, and they exposed us. And then later on, when it comes down to the playoffs, we played against Green Bay, and they did the exact same thing. They just ran through our throat. And you're seeing it now that we're losing at home to all these good teams that can run the ball well, and we're still getting pounded by these teams that can run the ball effectively.
Yeah,
and
man,
we don't have,
because they're so late on every, like, at first I used to think, oh, Rob Marinelli, I blame Rod. Then I used to think, oh well, no, I'll blame DQ, right? But at some point it's like maybe the front office just don't give a damn about the run defense. They don't care about defensive tackles.
I don't think they do, Phil. I don't think they do.
How can I not? How can I not look at it that way? Because again, it's been decades. Really, it's been decades since you really had the interior defensive line, right? That you've built to be able to do that. And it's not like that hasn't come back to bite you. Like, you've constantly got to the playoffs. I mean, this ain't the playoffs, but you get to the playoffs and teams are just having their way with you on the ground. And you do nothing to address it. Oh, well, Scott, they drafted a 6th-round defensive tackle. All right, bet. Well, Scott, they drafted the 1st-round defensive tackle for the first time since 1990. Yeah, and then they made him play like a 3-tech. So it didn't give him linebackers. Like, yeah, man, it's really interesting.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to bring up to you still. I ain't gonna hold you long, bro, but man, that's just something that I just wanted you to look at.
Yeah, I will. Appreciate you, Mississippi Cowboy. And you know another thing.
Okay.
I find interesting. Well, you had X amount of Pro Bowlers or whatever, right? One simple question. One. How did they perform in the playoffs? One question. How did they perform in the playoffs? Including your Q, right? Because he was a Pro Bowler or whatever. But did all those guys play up to that level? No. All right, 100 grand. We got some heavy hitters, so what's on your mind?
Listen, man. It's just all the players that leave the Cowboys say we concentrate on football. We can finally play football.
Yeah.
Every player that leaves here says the same thing. That don't open up your eyes, people, and stop blaming it on the players or blame it on Dak. I wanted Dak to leave. So Dak could say
they have to have some blame.
Dak could go
but you don't
to
have to put it
another
all
team.
on them.
But Scott, I just said every player that leaves here says we can finally concentrate on ball. If you go listen to new people that left here, Dan Quinn, all those people over there in Washington, we can finally concentrate on ball over there. Everybody says that.
Yeah.
When are you fans going to come around to it is the Joneses. It is the front office. You go look over there at Washington. Look at them. You listen to Louis T. You listen to these guys. You listen to what they say about how the players. Look at how the center is balling out over there. Y'all buried him. He's balling out over there. All those players is balling out over there. Why? They're having fun. They're smiling. They're saying, yo, this is great. This is awesome. We finally concentrating on ball. We finally playing ball. It's finally all about football over here. That don't open up your eyes.
Yeah, man.
Y'all just want to be blind.
Because
I wanted Dak Prescott to leave so Dak Prescott could say, we finally concentrating on ball. I wanted Dak to leave and win somewhere else so y'all could sit there and think, wow, maybe that would have opened up your eyes. But it did, because every other skill position guy or player from another position that leaves and balls out, y'all don't pay attention to them. Maybe the quarterback needed to leave and go somewhere else and win, so maybe y'all can pay attention to that. Because wide receiver leave and say it, y'all don't say anything. Tight end leave and say it, y'all don't say anything. All these other positions leave and say the same thing, y'all just dismiss it like it's nothing. I wanted Dak to leave and ball out, win a playoff game, possibly win a Super Bowl, and say it. And maybe that would have opened up y'all eyes. But it didn't happen.
It shouldn't take that, man. It's clear as day that how things are operating here is one of one, and it's not a good thing. It's clear, you know. And the one thing I don't ever hear from them people is that is to agree that it is harder here because of how things are operated. If you would admit that, then the rest falls in line. Then bet, because that's what I always say. They have to win in spite of. Boom. Now let's talk about these guys and what they have to do that in spite of. And it's that simple. But when you ignore what you're saying, when you ignore that the culture here that has been set, that the how here, the process here, when you ignore that it's flawed, it is flawed. That is a problem to me. That's where I'll fight back with you at all times, period.
People don't understand, Scott, when you say win in spite of.
That's tough.
You got to win in spite of, not just, and
it's tough.
You got to put the players, and you got to put the coaches in one basket. When you say win in spite of, that's the Joneses. The Joneses want to play on the field. See, people, the Joneses want to play on the field to be a certain way. And if it's not that way, they don't run it.
That's true.
So when you see the ball being ran or not being, or the running game not happening, the Joneses want passing. They went, yay, 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 and they went passing to their guy. They don't even want passing to CeeDee Lamb. They want everybody to get the ball. There's no ID offense to let down the contracts. It's all about the Joneses, people. And you guys just don't understand that. You talk about get this young coordinator in here, get that young coordinator in there. That's going to change things. No, it's not, because they're going to sit that man down. This is how we want it done. Can you do that? And if the answer is no, they're leaving. Case in point, not to cut you off,
we got it. Yeah.
Dan Quinn left. You know why Dan Quinn left? I'm tired of y'all sitting here talking about next year. I'm tired of y'all sitting here telling me
I
play
mean,
this guy and
100
play
grand.
that guy.
He left. He
out.
left because
Dan-
they offered him a head coaching job to get head coach money and be running an organization. If Washington does not offer him that job, he's not leaving Dallas.
Well, Scott,
That's
you telling me
doing
Dan Quinn
too
did not say? Dan Quinn did not say. Dan Quinn said it. Dan Quinn said it in the. I'm tired of man. Next year this. Or,
Oh yeah, because he got a job now.
Getting funds to next year.
Because he got the job.
And this and no, I'm talking about when he was here. No, I'm talking about players. When he tried to get players.
Dan Quinn ain't say that while he was here.
This guy and that guy. I think I heard him say that.
No,
I think
he
I
sat
heard
down.
him say
That was in an interview when he got the job in Washington. I get what you're saying. I just think we're starting to go a little bit far left with it. I'm pretty sure these coaches, if given the opportunity to be a head coach elsewhere, would take it in a heartbeat, given how things are operated here. And that's what happened with Dan Quinn. He got passed up by other teams this go around. And then the last team on the docket, when Ben Johnson turned it down, they went to Dan. Dan was their sloppy seconds. And Dan didn't turn it down because why would you? It's a head coaching job. But had he not took that job, he'd have still been here in Dallas. That's all I'm saying.
I believe you can't even buy the groceries. That you can't even fight. Everybody, Mike, fight for players. Mike, fight for players. Fight to get this player. Fight to get that player. How you know he not? And they're telling him no. You can fight all day long.
This is how I know he's not. Because how I know he's not. Mike said it. That ain't I don't care for it. It was the same way in Green Bay. It's the same way here in Dallas. And I think that's why they hired him. They know they were not going to get a guy who would be combative. And
that's another reason.
And
you know
the type of coach they want, because ever since they got a guy that was combative, look at the yes men they have hired since then in regards to Bill Parcells. That's a combative guy that's going to tell you how he feels. Wade ain't going to do it. Jason ain't going to do it. Mike ain't going to do it. Right? Mike just, hey, I'll coach him up. Bring him in, I'll coach him up. He said that when he got here. He said it in Green Bay. So they knew what they're doing.
And everybody who said, oh, man, you just want to blame it on the Joneses. Our teams have looked the same. Just sit and think about it. I don't care if the coach. I don't care if the coach. I don't care if the court. Y'all said we can't win with Tony Romo. Y'all said we can't win with this quarterback, that quarterback. It's been the same argument, the same way, the same thing. It's been the same way. The coaches has been the same. And you can go and put in a Mike McCarthy's press conference and then put on a Jason Garrett's press conference. Yeah, different words were said, but it was the same thing. Jason Garrett ain't had no fight. Mike McCarthy ain't had no fight on these press conferences. It's been the same thing. Our guys. Oh, I like our guys. That's the young guys that's in the building, and I like our guys. Stephen Jones, I like our guys. Don't that sound like the same message? Wake up, people. Wake up. I'm out, Scott.
$100,000, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's keep it moving. We got two more, and we'll close this thing up. Get us some super chats. D. Sean, what's up, man?
What up? All right, so that's your question. So if it quack like a duck, walk like a duck, Scott, what is it?
It's a duck.
A duck. So my thing is, so I'm looking in the chat and everything, and I realized what 100 grams was saying, which he was on some off topics.
Just call him 100 grams.
100 grand, not 100 grams.
Okay.
One person called him 100 grams. I was like, damn. So yeah, some of the topics I understand what he was saying. But honestly, I ask another question. So what do you want from the Jones family to do? Because a lot of people are saying they want everybody to throw the kitchen sink to spend a bunch of money. Me personally, I don't want. I just want them to cover up.
That's not what everybody's saying at all.
I agree. Mm-hmm. I just want them to cover up the deficiencies that's in the team. That's it, Scott. It's too many times we've been almost to the finish line and we need a little extra push to get us there. They didn't want to do it. Go ahead.
They need to step down.
Yes.
Asking them to do what you're saying, it's impossible because they're compromised by themselves. There's a conflict of interest. You're asking Stephen Jones to go out and get those players, right? He's not going to do it. And then he's not going to go get the hump type players or even just better than 6-round pick type of acquisitions or vet minimum type acquisitions. There's no pressure for him to do that. Hey man, we just do enough to kind of remain status quo is fine. That's enough. That's enough. We'll figure it out. We'll hang around the rim. So you can't have guys in charge that are okay with hanging around the rim because they'll never ever set that pick, right? That knocks somebody on the ground and you could throw that alley oop. Easy alley oop.
Agree.
They'll never do it.
And agree. And my question is, so let's say
yeah, you breaking up. I gotta let you go. I gotta let you go, Deshaun. You sound like robotic right there. But yeah, nobody asking them to spend. You right? $200 million. I can't even ask them to do what you said though, Deshaun, because that's not what they want to do. They want to do it their way and keep saying it. Their way does not work. And I'll say it again. And I'll keep on saying it. Well, Sky, it's the players. I bet. Who putting them out there? Who's been putting them out there for 30 years? In the manner that they're doing it. You got an organization literally telling you, man, the way to win the Super Bowl is draft and develop. The way to win the Super Bowl is draft and develop. I'm watching a league literally destroy your draft and developing ass team. Run laps around you. You know, Mozzie will break through. Schoolmaker's going to break through. All right? Look, Ron Bland, Michael Parsons, Osa's going to break through. He'll be Grady Jarrett, right? That's what I was hoping. But who else who we just get? No, Neal's going to be, man, Neal's going to be DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus where? And when? In year 4 or 5? In the meantime, in between time, you know, other aspects of team operations exist. And other teams are doing those things or making the attempt. Hell, I wouldn't be sitting here lambasting them year after year if they were even making the attempts and failing. I swear to God, I wouldn't. Because you're making the attempt. You're not even attempting to do the other things. And then every year you feed that to us. And then once we get to the season and we see when you go up against these teams that do those things and get your tail whipped, you're like, okay, well, maybe we'll get better. Things will be better. Then you get towards the end of the season, you're like, I mean, we're going to the playoffs, but we going to play like this in the playoffs? Get to the playoffs and get your ass whooped. You know what? Run it back. All right, man. I still wish and hope for the best. Don't get me wrong. And with each loss, I'm like, I get a little bit less confident in this team winning 10 games, but I still feel like you're going to beat up on some of these bad teams. But boy, I'll still hold to what I said going into the season. Let's see how they play heading into the playoffs. I'm not sure they're even going to get there, but that's the biggest thing to me. How are they playing heading in? What have they established heading in? And I bet you can pinpoint exactly how they're going to win or lose. They give you the breadcrumbs. You just got to follow it. Personally, have I ignored that sometimes? I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, my fandom has got the best of me. 100%. And I ain't going to hold y'all. Sometimes I'm like, that red flag, it ain't that bright. We'll be able to beat so-and-so. Beat Tampa, we good to go. And then that red flag pop right back up on your ass. Rick, what's good, man?
Yeah, what up, Sky? What's going on, Cowboy Nation? I'm good today. Yeah, I wanted to say this, man. Jerry Jones has been off his rocker for a long time, man. And all this draft and develop stuff he keeps saying, it sounds like more like Steven, too. Him and Steven, it's them two.
Absolutely.
And these dudes been off their rocker for a long time. Bruh, you know when I knew these dudes was off their rocker? When they did not draft Randy Moss back in the day. That pissed me off so bad, man. When I found out how that went down in that draft room, because he has character issues or he has some kind of issues. You don't draft one of the greatest wide receivers of all time to come help out your aging team that would have gave them a spark. Come on, man. I'm like, yo, you dudes been off since then to me, man, because how can you say that you a draft and develop team when you don't shake a move in the draft? Even you lacking in that. You stand pat. You don't move up like that. Sometimes you move up a spot or two, but like when are we gonna see?
Yeah, I think the two that come to mind is Dez and Mo Claiborne, right? I can't remember any other time after Mo moving up in the like you're talking about like first round. They've moved up in other rounds, second round, fourth round, fifth round, right?
Yeah.
But the first round, they don't really move up like that. But which I don't expect them to, because guess what? They covet the picks. I don't expect them to get aggressive in the draft. I don't expect them to get aggressive in the trade market because those picks are gold to them. When even teams that draft well still use those picks to acquire proven talent to help them get over the hump. That's just like, you have to do that, man. You cannot rely on, first and second year players to get you over the hump, because by the time they are established, one or two things are going to happen. Either they're going to be up for a contract, right? And you got to pay them, which we do pay. Sometimes you get it right. Sometimes they get it wrong. Michael Gallup, Terrence Steele, it happens. Tony Pollard, franchise tag. Schultz, franchise tag. Like, you make the wrong decisions because you value your draft guys more than you value getting somebody outside of the crib. So you have to be able to kind of mend. Okay, they're developing, but let me bring in somebody in here that's better than that guy developing, so that we can still be championship material. I just don't know how you're championship material relying on, first, second, and even just like third year players, mostly first and second year players to get you over the hump. And a lot of those guys are like third, fourth, fifth round picks. You're going to need a little bit more than that, man. Detroit went out and got a DJ Reader after going to the NFC Championship, realizing, and they were already good against the run, bro. Right? So if Detroit can go do it, why can't you do something like that? You don't hear Detroit crying cap for all you people that put the cape on. Oh, caps, guy. Well, then how does Detroit able to pay their left tackle, right tackle, wide receiver, quarterback, have the highest paid running back in free agency 2 years ago, and go get one of the best defensive tackles in free agency? How are they able to do that?
Because the main thing is the main thing over there.
Right.
Football is the main thing.
Right.
Not no goddamn Grand Prix running outside the damn stadium. Not no country music.
Helicopters at practice. Yeah, come on, man. Y'all think this thing is cool? Y'all think the way this thing ran is cool? Yeah, you're off your rockers, man. You're completely off your rockers if you think the way things run here is okay.
It's bullshit, man. Because the championship teams, if you sit back and watch how the Chiefs move, or contending teams move, they're always making moves. Even if they lose a player, they putting another player in his place. If it ain't good, like if they ain't better than that player, they gonna put somebody in there that's good as
they
that player.
Got hella picks from trading. They got hella picks from trading. What are you talking, sir? Troy, you've been here for a long time. I did it. My bad, Reek. I did a whole show. Reek, you probably saw the show. The Cowboys, and my mic still have the graphic. Hold up. Let me see if I can find it. The Cowboys have not acquired anything more than a fourth round pick from trading a player away, outside of the draft, since 1994, bro. What picks? You talking about like fifth rounders and sixth rounders? What picks? They don't bust moves to get a first or second round pick trading a player. They don't do that. My bad. Go ahead, bro.
No, and to speak on that too, the Browns just showed you're a dumbass fucking organization. You gave us Amari Cooper, who you spent the first round draft pick on, for a fifth round.
Rounder, bro.
And they got a fucking third, man. Wake up, fans. Wake up, fans. They can turn that, and they can turn into a second round depending on how good Amari go over there and play, right?
95. Oh, and I was off a round. Since 1995, the Cowboys have not netted more than a fifth round pick in any trade outside of draft day trade pick swaps. And the only reason why I have since 95 is because I could not find the information to go beyond 95. Now, we understand the Herschel Walker trade, right? But that was 89. So we are, or 88 maybe. We understand the Herschel Walker trade. So since that trade, I don't think the Cowboys have acquired a 5th round pick higher than the 5th round pick outside of draft day pick swaps. Y'all, like, do y'all understand how crazy this is? Do you understand how crazy this is? I don't know if there's a singular team in the National Football League that hasn't at least netted more than a 5th round pick by trading a player away. The Cowboys have not done it. That's wild. But this is okay to y'all?
I just don't get it. Like, this dude comes up into this radio station, comes on this radio station, and expect these guys to be fluff with him all the goddamn time. Most of the time, they be talking about some dumb shit, like from the interviews I've been hearing when Jerry's on there. Now they finally give him some body shots, which he deserves. His team is 0-4. We counting that Green Bay game because that game has not went nowhere. He's 0-4 at home, and we be getting blown out at home, bruh.
Yeah,
that's not how you win.
I don't know how you can be so defensive and adamant and beat your chest about not making a change after this happens to you 4 times in a row at the crib. There's just no freaking way you really care that much about turning things around. There's no way.
Yeah, man, it's not the main thing. Not the main thing. The Grand Prix. That's the main thing for him. Packing out that stadium and getting bread off of that stadium.
Yeah,
football is not the main thing. He's showing us and telling us this.
Hey, you heard him at the presser where they was like, or when they said, "Hey, man, do you think fans are more apathetic and just not really into the season this year?" He said, "Well, we sold the most season tickets in the history of the National Football League. We sold out the fastest in the history of the National Football League." What? All right, man. All right.
And get blown out. They come out there, look at that old puppy dog look at the end of the goddamn season. Guys, things happen and this, that, and other. You got an owner that don't give a damn about making the team better. Then you got a coach that's always talking about these guys are unprepared, man. That's bullshit.
Where are these picks? So, Troy, tell me where all these picks that the Cowboys have acquired. Please tell me. And if you're talking about 6th and 7th round, 5th round picks, then say that. Because there's no evidence that they have acquired more than that. But hey, appreciate you, Reek.
All right, now y'all take it easy out there.
You too,
all right, Scott. Peace.
Come on, man. I ain't new to this, dog. Ever since I took the duties of trying to putting a microscope on this team more than the national media, I'm not just talking out of my ass, man. I see trends around the league. I see how other teams move. I see it. I see how we move. How in any world do you think this is okay? There was this, and I actually had to debunk this too. I might do some. People were like, well, Scott, Jerry, he spent all the money in free agency before. That didn't work out. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He really didn't. The one time he really kind of went, I don't even call it crazy, but he really did that in free agency was when what? Bill Parcells took over and changed the dynamics of the team. So they had to go out and get certain players, the Fergusons, the Riveras, the guys to fit his scheme, right? And then they signed Leonard Davis. That was a big acquisition that worked out, by the way. But since 95, Jerry wasn't out here just spending all this crazy money in free agency. No. Jerry was spending money on his guys. Jerry was chasing wide receivers, Roy Williams and Joey Galloway. Free agency? No. Trades outside of wide receivers? No. Trading your guys to get picks back? No. These dudes have no fucking clue how to operate in the free agency era, which includes trading. Now, that's part of it. They have no clue. None. Yeah, they got spooked because Brandon Carr. Give me a. Hey, man. He loves to bring that up. Steven loves to. Hey, man, last time we did that, Brandon Carr. Okay, and you say it didn't work out. I say it was fine. Maybe you don't switch the scheme up when he was playing his ass off the first few years in that type of scheme. He had like 6 interceptions in the first 2 seasons and was fine. But anyway, even then, I bet didn't work out. I'm just going to stop. When I see I got a quality team, maybe if I do go out and get, maybe it's not a Brandon Carr, but it's somebody better than a goddamn DeMonte KZ, J-Ron Curse, Brent Urban, and sell the fan base on that. But ain't no way. You think that's normal? I digress. Timothy said 5th and 6th round players are great, Sky. Yeah, sometimes you hit, man. Sometimes you hit. What Lions pick like the Eagles and Rams? I'm not following in the chat, so apologies, Troy. I can't really, you got to scroll up. Starting to feel like the Carter deck. Who's going? Nah. We ain't go that far. We ain't gonna go that far. Will McClay saves the day. So, and I get it. He did not hit last year, but he is really good at his job. I joke around calling him an Uber driver, but that's not kind of facts when it comes to pro personnel acquisition, because the president of pro personnel is Steven. The scout, the guy he sends out to go do his dirty work, is Will. This is how it goes. Will, I need a defensive tackle at vet minimum pricing. Go find me that. Bet. Will, I'm willing to trade a late pick for a defensive end, but I'm not extending them. I don't want it to be on a long-term deal. We can go ahead and take about $5 million hit. I bet. Let me go get Robert Quinn. Will, we need a corner. We needed a corner last year and a receiver. Go find me a veteran corner. I don't want to extend him. I don't want a long-term deal. We got a little bit of money. Messed up last year. Not getting better at the position. Go find me one. Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore looking like all pro though. Minnesota right now though. You know? Hey, Will. I got a new defensive coordinator in Dan Quinn. Oh, bet. You want me to go get, one of his best players? I can go. No. Need you to find me out. There's a whole lot of clearance rack guys to throw at this thing and see what happens. Bet. KZ, Hooker, J-Ron, Brent Urban. Bash him. That'll do it. So Will does it. And I don't blame Will McClay not one iota. He's in a perfect situation, by the way. Perfect situation. What they ought to do is let Will be the actual general manager. Ooh, I would love to see that. I would love to see that. But because of their ego, they won't go there. They want the credit, which always baffles me. If you actually win the Super Bowl by doing it the way other teams do it, you will get the credit, Jerry. You'll get more credit for taking a step back and letting somebody else steer you into that 6th ring. You get way more credit. Because I'm telling you what's going to happen. If they happen to do it in the way you're operating, in all honesty, besides the Crusaders and the Gerald Briscoes and Pat Patterson's fans out there, who really giving him credit for it? That's what he failed to realize. He's so far gone. Nobody's going to credit you, Jerry. If you don't change up how this operates, they're not going to credit you. Jackie said, I believe in Will. I believe in Will. Is Will perfect? No, man. You know how hard it is when a team tells you, hey, this is the only way we're going to build this team to get over the hump. It's through the draft. Whew. Boy, you got pressure to hit. You ain't going to always hit. You're not going to always hit. You're going to have your moments. right? But there's no doubt in my mind the Cowboys are one of the better drafting teams. And I say this all the time to you guys. The problem is because of the way they operate, they have to be even better. That's more pressure on Will McClay. But Will can always go home and say, well, did my job. Did my job. The rest is on you, Steven. Or Jerry, whoever wants to parade around and be the general manager for that day. I digress. I think we're good here on Supers. I knew today would be, I had a feeling it would be like this, which is why part of me wasn't even going to tease looking at film, but I did. Apologies to y'all. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Like I said, I listened to one of the assistant coaches, and it made me want to go back and look at some more things from the Lions game, at least, and to see how the Lions did some things. And y'all know how I feel. It's about the run game. You know how I feel about how the Lions run their run game. For those who don't watch them a lot or don't watch the film on them, do yourself a favor. It's amazing. And I'm just going to show you why I'm a big advocate and fan of wide zone. It's if your foundation from a run game is built through wide zone, there's so many things you can do off of that within the run game, within the pass game, with gadget plays, all of it. And I don't think anybody runs it better than Detroit, including the Shanahan tree, including those guys. Like, and I think they're, the pioneers of the modern day wide zone. But Ben Johnson, bag is deep. So I'm going to look at some of the ways we run our inside zone and then look at how they run some of their wide zones. So that's probably what we'll do tomorrow. Maybe I'll have a guest on. We'll see. But we're going to leave it at that. Carr scar for a long time. Yeah, man, they roll out that damn Brandon Carr deal every year. Well, we tried it, man. You tried it. All right, man. All right, let's get up out of here. If you enjoyed today's show, hit that like button. Oh, wait, we got one more caller? It's a blocked number, though. Hello? Oh, we ain't got no caller. Let's get up out of here. We'll be back in this thing tomorrow, Cowboys Nation. Wrapping up this bye week. This is going to be a low of a bye week, man. After you lose that way, it's going to be a low. Hopefully they come out this bye week and then get on a little run. But right now, we got to sit on this loss for 2 weeks. And tomorrow, like I said, we'll get it some film. I'm going to get up out of here. Press this button, man.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
I pushed the button, man. Shouts out to our sponsor, Specs, the one-stop shop for all things fine liquor, wine, foods. You can't beat it, man. Planning that party or that getaway, hit up Specs in any location in the Texas area. We out of here. Love you. Peace.
Squad!